Hi everybody, this is Wes Stampley coming to you today with another video about how to save yourself some money. If you like our channel, jwsrepairservice.com, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap that notification button so you'll be the first to know when we post new content. Today we're going to be working on an Echo Power Blower. Now this is an older unit that I've had for many years. It's suffered the effects of fuel sitting in it, ethanol destroying everything, and it really is in need of a tune-up, and we're going to show you how to basically rebuild the entire fuel system on the cheap. Stand by. This is the unit we're working on today. You can see it's an Echo. It's pretty dirty, it's old, but it's PB2100, if you can see that or not, PB2100 blower. Like I said, it's an older unit, but it's always been a really good one for me. But it's just in need of some TLC. So I have pause. Yeah, I picked up this kit on Amazon. It's a complete kit. We'll go over some of the contents here and where they go, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you the price on it, because you're going to be as surprised as I was. Let's just open this up. We'll go over the pieces here. Now some of this is going to be things that don't actually go to this machine, but they give you extra stuff. Okay, air filter. This is the tank grommet. These are horrible about leaking. As a matter of fact, this one's leaking, if you can see right in here. We need to zoom in a little bit on that.
Yep.
You can see this right here is leaking really bad. That affects the pressurization of the tank because they don't use a fuel pump on these. It actually pressurizes the tank to help push that fuel into the carburetor. So if you've got a leak here, not only is it annoying that your garage always smells like gas, or we're going to talk about canned fuel as well, but not only does it smell, but it makes it hard to start. It gives it an inconsistent fuel flow to the engine. So that's important that we're changing that. You see we've got an air filter here. That's probably the original filter. So it's dirty. It's still surprisingly in fairly good condition, but we'll definitely be changing that. You get the fuel system. That's another fuel line. It came with a couple of extra of the primer bulb. You would need that if you were still running pump fuel. But like I said, I'm going to highly recommend you don't. This is the filter, or the clunk, that goes in the tank. That goes on the end of the fuel line. And then here is the carburetor. It's a brand new carburetor. You can see that it already has the primer bulb on it, but they decided to give you some extras. But if you use the canned fuel that I'll show you, you won't need that. So gaskets, a little brass piece that goes somewhere. We'll have to find that together. There's another gasket, and that's it. So you get quite a few items here to rebuild the fuel system. So let's go ahead and start taking this apart. Pause. Okay, now you're going to need a couple of tools for this. Nothing really spectacular. Flat blade and a Phillips. So we'll start by removing the carburetor. Okay, we pull that out. You see, I'm going to clean that up because you're going to reuse this piece, because it also has your choke in it. So we'll clean this up so it'll look nice and pretty-ish. Here's your carburetor. Not a whole lot here to worry about. We do need to get this linkage loose. This is your throttle linkage, and it is, oh, you could use some needle nose as well. It's in there in a certain angle. We do that right there. Here are our fuel lines coming out of the tank. We've got one here, and boy, this line is pretty hard here. So we got that one, and we've got this larger one. That first one I pulled off is pressurizing the tank. This is the actual fuel line that's supplying the fuel. So there's our old carburetor. You can see that primer bulb, that was supposed to look like that. So you can see that ethanol fuel excuse me, really does bad things. So get rid of that. Now what we're going to do, actually this still has fuel in it, so I need to empty the fuel tank first. Okay, just be sure whenever you're handling gasoline, now this is not gasoline, this is actually the canned fuel, which I will show you later. But we're going to save that because we're going to put that right back in there. Now we're going to show you what's inside all of this. I'm going to set this aside. Just remember that gasoline is flammable, the fumes are harmful, they can't explode if you're not in a ventilated area. Our shop here is open on both ends, we have a fan going, so we're pretty good. But if you're doing this at home, just be sure to be careful not to get confined with the fumes. So now we're going to pull this grommet out of the tank that we're replacing. My goodness, let me get a new rag here. Okay. Just kind of clean some of this off. Okay, here's our replacement assembly. And if you need to check what you're doing here to see where anything goes, you'll see that this was your fuel supply because it goes all the way down here to the clunk. So we're going to take the new line and we're going to make it, let's see, it wants that one to be it. Okay, we'll put that in the same place. I'm going to slide this over that hose like so. Get that in there good. You take this little brass piece and stick it through. You're going to add your fuel line back to it. If I can get that to line up there. Okay, like so. And we're going to push that down inside the grommet so that you can just see that it's a little bit raised there, so that it's in there. Now we're going to take this end of it. Oh yeah, let's put it on the right way, that'd probably be better. And it's going to go like that, and we will slide that all the way up on there after I finish pushing it back through the other side of that. Okay, try to get it all the way on. Moving up, we'll keep pushing and pushing, and there we go. Alright, so that's all the way on there now. This is your new completed fuel line. I'm going to take our clunk, or our filter, we'll put that in the end of it. You can see that fits pretty tight. Now we're going to take this assembly and stick this, knock that off. And you can see here, I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to put this back into the tank, slide that in there, and then we're going to make sure that this grommet, see, that was dirty still, seats properly. We want it to go into the tank and lock in. To give it a little bit of help with the flat blade to push that in there. And it's thinking about it, but it hasn't committed yet, so we're going to keep working that around. We don't want to press too hard and end up cutting the grommet, so we just want to, there's just enough pressure to get it to lock in there like it's supposed to, and it's not. Pause. Okay, we're having some difficulty getting the grommet in there because though we were able to get the old one out, the tank, the hole is actually, this is too close to the hole, so it won't fit down in there. The new grommet's bigger. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the tank so that we can get enough room to do that. To remove the tank, we're going to dig around here through the dirt. We're going to find the screws that are holding it. We're going to remove the screws. There's another one here. This will allow us to remove the fuel tank and clean it up. Pause. Okay, we're back. I've cleaned all of this out, the tank. Just taking some opportunity to get a lot of that debris out of there that had been in there for a while. I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of a light penetrating oil on this grommet. Let's see if that'll go in there a little bit easier. So we're going to put this in, we'll feed it through the hole. And we'll get that started in there. It fits really, really tight, but then it needs to so that it doesn't leak and it pressurizes the tank properly. And once again, we're going to try to gently press that down in there so as to get it to seat, but we don't want to actually break the rubber. Alright. Almost. We're getting there. You can do it. Maybe. Can we do it? I think I can. I think I can. Maybe. And yes, we've made it. Push that all the way down firmly. Feel inside. Yep, I can feel the bottom of it all the way around. And yes, we have successfully gotten the grommet back in the tank. So hopefully that'll fit nice and tight and it won't leak. So now we'll install the tank, reinstall the tank. I forgot to clean that screw. Wipe that off so you can see it. There's the other one. Okay, we'll tighten that up nicely, and that's back in there. Now we'll take our new carburetor. This longer one is the one that goes to our fuel, so it's our fuel supply. This is going to be the one that goes here. This will be our pressure. So we're going to make sure we get our linkage hooked up, like so. And we'll hook our pressure line up, shorter one. Oh, no, I said that exactly backwards. The short one is the pressure line, but it goes on the straight nipple. Sorry, I'll be okay. So we'll put our pressure line on the short one, put our fuel line, long one. Push that. You have to shorten that line just a little bit. I think that's going to, that's going to be a little bit too long. So we're going to need to shorten that so that it doesn't pinch the line. Cut about, let's cut that off, put this back on there. Okay, reinstall our linkage, and we'll get ready to mount our carburetor as soon as we put the gasket on. We're going to take the choke and the outer air filter cover and run that through there and get our bolts through there so we know that the gasket's in it. Put that right back on there. And we'll tighten that up. Pause. Okay, we'll get those good and tight, and make sure that our throttle works, which it does. Now, go ahead and put some fuel in it, and this is the gas in a can that I was talking about. This is made by Steel here. This is their Motomix. It's already a pre-mixed fuel for all your two-stroke applications. You don't have to add any oil or anything to this fuel. It's already mixed. And it has no ethanol in it. It's not actually gasoline, so it doesn't go bad over the winter time. I've been using this for a couple of years since I finally broke down and bought myself a Steel weed eater a couple of years ago, and they told me when I bought it that they would double the engine warranty if I bought a can of the fuel, and I figured the Steel's really not going to break anyway, but I went ahead and got it, and I just kind of fell in love with it because I can let this thing sit, or my weed eater sit, or anything else. I can let it sit all winter long and fire it right up, and it just runs just fine. So we're going to change the spark plug. It came with a spark plug in the kit, but I'm going to use an NGK just because that's what I prefer to use. I guess you could use this. It actually absolutely doesn't say anybody. There's nobody's name on that plug. If nobody wants to claim it, I don't want it either. So I'm going to put an NGK in it. Excuse me. Tighten that up. Spark plug wire back on. Make sure it's in the holder. At this point, I really don't have to have the air filter on it, but I'll just go ahead and put it on there, just so it's a little bit quieter when we start it. Now, I haven't checked any adjustments on this carburetor as far as the mixture screws go, but if you see here, if we can zoom in a little bit here, you'll see you have two adjustment screws, and right there in that little bitty spot, this has an H by it. That's your high-speed screw, and though this one doesn't say, this would be your low-speed screw. Low speed is basically starting and idle, and your acceleration performance. So when you go to throttle it, if it doesn't take throttle well, this may be a little bit too lean, which means it needs to be screwed out some. This controls your high speed, literally controls just that, your high speed. It's basically going to adjust your maximum RPM. And we'll go through some adjustments here because I haven't adjusted anything on here, so we'll see how it works. We're going to go ahead and prime it up, make sure we're getting fuel in here. And you can see the bulb filled up very quickly, so I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and give it full throttle and set the throttle. I'm going to give it choke. Let me get my screwdriver to adjust the mixture if necessary. We got a little bitty flat blade screwdriver, and we're going to see how this runs. So, ignition's on. Wow, it already wants to start. Oops, that was too much. Now I'm just trying to set my low speed. You saw I set the high speed by leaving it on full throttle, and then I turned it in till the RPM dropped. I turned it out till the RPM dropped, and then set it in the middle. So we'll restart and see if we get the low speed correct. I'm going to go ahead and start it back on a high throttle setting. Now we'll check for acceleration performance. Kind of slow. Go ahead and richen that up just a little bit. There we go. Small adjustments make a big difference. Just check the idle performance, and it's gonna die. So we're not, that idle maybe just a little bit rich. We're gonna put it back there. We're gonna start on a high throttle setting, and then we'll go back to idle and see if it'll idle. Whoops. We've got the new carburetor on there, new air filter, spark plug, the fuel grommet, the fuel lines, the clunk in the tank. This kit, this is all of the stuff that we replaced here. We still have an extra one of those. These lines are just crappy and trash. Filter's clogged, carburetor's dirty, missing the bolt. On Amazon, $15.99. That's right, $15.99. And you can get your old reliable blower working just like new again. Thanks for watching. This is Wes Stamper with JWS Repair Service. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know the next time we post new content. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.